Joe, welcome back to Matchday Report. Late once again because you know me, I like me a good drink at the weekend. Especially after this result, we beat Ipswich 3-2. Now, the nerves going towards Deepdale were, not many people were confident about the game to say the least, and neither was I. But in the end, we managed to pull a result. Now, the reason why I'm not overtly happy about the result, I'll explain in due time, but as it stands, we'll take this one as a positive, and there is a lot of positives to take out of the game, and I hope that we do that when we go and play Cardiff at the weekend and then Middlesbrough next week. So fingers crossed we can take and learn from what we did. Now, of course, this will put a stint on Ipswich's title charge, and they drop out of the automatics and now into a relatively tight top four. The top six not so much, but we know West Brom has got some catching up to do here. This brings us up to 10th and in towards the bottom six again. However, I must stress that it's far from finished this season, the title race and all that stuff. No one can write anyone off just yet, apart from maybe every team underneath 15th place, but we'll see how that goes. Anyways, 10 shots, 3 on target. The only 3 shots we had on every time. We only had 2 shots on target that went in. Our third shot on target was a completely different one. As I thought the second goal was scored by Reese, but it turns out Edmondson got a foot to the ball in trying to clear it and ends up scoring a really fucking good goal. So, credit, I suppose. Ipswich, 25 shots, 9 on target. As expected, high attacking side. I think we did well to block a lot of their shots as they made some decent ones. But the goals that we did concede, in my eyes, are not brilliant. The first one was so-and-so. We got beat at the back post yet again. The back post seems to be a danger spot for us, and the second one we're a little bit of a scramble in the box before it goes in, but I do believe Woodman should be coming out to collect that ball before it even hits the floor. So, mixed opinions there. The rest of it we're not going to look at because it's the same every game. Usually when we have less possession we play better for some reason I do not understand. But let's get into player ratings, shall we? Woodman a 7. Looked like a clean sheet could be on the cards, but Preston needed him in the closing stages. Ipswich almost come back from the dead. Make a couple of important stops. Might be disappointed to spill the ball before Moore's second. Yep, it's one that you should be keeping hold of. It does look like it's come out of his hands, but again, could be doing better there. Story 7.5, a steady day at the office on the whole. Pushed on to support attacks on occasions, didn't do much wrong defensively. Lindsay is 7. Committed shift on his 100th appearance, was aggressive and alert, though Moore, who offered a totally different threat, did have some joy. Hughes a 7, did a lot right for the match. Moore climbed above him for the first goal. Yet again, Hughes getting beat at the back post, what a surprise. I had to dig deep in the final minutes of the match. If it's getting like a common theme here, a lot of goals that other teams score when it comes to headers and set pieces, it's always the back post and it's always Hughes getting beat, so that might need to be addressed. Brad Potts, 7.5. Was consistently up and down the right flank as always, odd in the tackle and stuck in his task defensively. Overall did reasonably well. Whiteman a 7, gutsy performance in the engine room, put his body on the line and moved the ball well in spells. Brown 7.5, set the tone early doors and took the fight to Ipswich, left it all out there after his presentation for 400 appearances. Miller a 7, got into some promising positions and asked questions in the final third, even if the execution didn't always come off. Another bright performance, I do agree. Keep going, Mads an 8, Starboy. Another impressive performance in the number 10 role, picked the ball up in those attacking pockets and nicked the ball high up for the third goal. Forced keeper, I believe, into an error in the second half, which should have seen him sent off. That is incorrect. As far as footage tells us, and obviously I saw it with my fucking eyes, I'm sat on the town end when it happened. It was a back pass. I'm more than sure it was a back pass, but at the same time, I'm not entirely sure because football rules these days are confusing. But anyways, the keeper's gone to control the ball and he's missed completely, which goes to him falling to the floor to palm it away and trips Mads over. Now, a lot of people said it should have been a penalty. Keeper's handballed it when he's not permitted to. As far as I'm aware, when it comes to football rules such as back pass and things like that, it's an indirect free kick from outside the penalty box. I'm more than sure that's the rule, but don't quote me, I'm not a referee, but as far as I know, it's an indirect free kick, not a penalty and a sending off. It's not a bookable offence apparently. Anyways, Will Keenan 8, another 2 goals taken to 11. He fatigued second half, dipped in terms of performance, but his first half strikes proved decisive. Reese a 7, second goal was all about his pace and power, running into open ground, had boosted P&E's threat as a team clearly, just about finding that sharpness. As about Maich, 6.5, a couple of frustrating moments in injury time as Preston needed to retain possession, but he charged around, got into Ipswich's faces and sent a powerful shot just wide. McCann 6, introduced for Mads, probably to add freshness and defensive security. That didn't quite happen as hoped, but he battled away as always. Brady a 6, replaced Miller with 10 minutes of normal time to go, ended up defending for his life, which he should be doing anyway in those stages. Woodburn a 6, replaced Keenan injury time to run his socks off out of possession, and that's your lot. Now, from what I've said then, of course, you can tell there were some very good moments from certain players, especially the attacking side, but you might think, you go 3-0 up in the first half, how on earth does it get this close to a draw, and why is it so nervy? Again, I'm going to imagine Ryan's going to say something about this, so if he does, I will comment on it. Okay. Ryan said, I don't think the heart rate was good, but I thought the lads were fantastic in everything that they did from start to finish. First half was great, we scored the goals and went in 3 up, but you always know a team like Ipswich are going to come out fighting, bringing a Premier League player on in Kiev Moore. I believe that's how you say it. They caused some problems going more direct. I thought our lads dealt with it very good for large parts. The goals were obviously disappointing, but if truth be known, it doesn't really matter. We have got 3 points, scored 3, conceded 2, which we aren't happy with. But the points are the most important thing. It's basically just more of the same message at half time. When they bring more on, they dink balls up. I just walked off the pitch next to him. He's a man mountain. The first one dinked up and Fred made a save for the second one. We just weren't able to deal with it, but the lads did terrifically to hang on and get the points. I don't think that's the point. Them bringing on one player shouldn't be the do-all and end-all of the game, personally. At the end of the day, the reason why things have changed so much in the second half is because we were fucked after the first half. Before the game, the plan must have been pretend it's Blackpool and just all-out assault with the pressure. And when we play high pressure, like we've seen multiple times this season, like the start of the season especially, we get points, we score goals, and we win games. But in the second half, we did more of what we normally do. We reduced the pressure and we go back to a basic sort of try and keep Ipswich in their own half as much as possible. But while we're not trying to push forward, they can commit more bodies forward. We're committing all our bodies back. The highest where we are is just where the halfway line is. We can't get any further forward because all their bodies are in our box trying to attack. And if we're allowing them to do that, it's very difficult to try and produce an attack from that, if you know what I'm trying to say. We can't just rely on a player to hoof it out as a clearance and our striker to go and pick it up, because it's just not a feasible strategy to try and score a second half goal. You need to alleviate the pressure, but don't drop it entirely, if you know what I'm trying to say. There's plenty of opportunities to score a goal in a football game, but that being said, it is what it is, really, isn't it? But yeah, it's disappointing in my eyes in the fact that they managed to get those 2 back based on the way that we change our style of play, because it happens every game. As soon as we go in at half time or any other point when we take the goal lead, it feels like game over because we don't press for another goal. Always press for another goal and you'll never be at much, there's not going to be too much going on the other end of the pitch that can force you to capsize backwards, because that's what we do every game. No matter how many bodies we put in that box, we're not allowing ourselves to get forward, and therefore they can come forward, play that really high line. It's impossible to deal with. But again, I'm hoping that one is I'm hoping it's solid. Yeah, I don't know what happened with the one where Mad's close to keeper down. I think he touched it and then handballed it, which could have been another goal. That maybe would have seen the game clearer for us. But I cannot fault the lads' effort. We tried to set the tone, being on front foot and being aggressive and brave. We're not taking on people, we're just closing spaces from their keeper's kicks and doing a job and a half for your mate. When the ball is travelling, you can get across, and that is what they did right from the off. Well, why don't you just do that anyway? It's very confusing. Before half time, there was a chance for Mads to slip Liam Miller in, and I was a bit like, because at 4-0 you would think it's game over, and at 3-0 you're thinking they will make changes, have a reaction, which they did. We had to deal with large pressure from them, but they are a good team, aren't they? Let's not deny it. They're fantastic, and I hope they get promoted, to be honest. I think they deserve it. Kieran has done a fantastic job, and they've got some brilliant players who bravely take the ball on at half turn, and somebody is up their backside. It is relentless how they play and keep the ball moving. They nearly got back into it, but ultimately being 3-0 up at half time, you're thinking, okay, are we going to try and give the lads too much information? I said one or two things about Chaplin running off the back, but when more comes on, it is difficult. He's got a lot of quality to withstand the pressure. Come away with 3 points is pleasing. It's a big month to see where we can finish and get to. I'm not really getting carried away. I just want to keep winning and see where it takes us. And as I've said, they are all 50-50 games, and if we perform like that on the front foot, brave, bold, creating chances, then we will give ourselves a good platform to build from. And while that I guess is a good way of looking at things, you can't say being 3-0 up at half time thinking, okay, and we try not to give too much, lads. It's not about that. It's about keep doing the same. I understand we can't play at 100% intensity all the time because we're going to tire out. No matter how fit you are, you're going to start getting dead legs. the problem is, when we're committing everybody forward, and then as soon as it gets to the second half, they need that rest, and that's when we start doing our drop back. It gets difficult, especially when they've got pacey players. We can't keep the pace. But at the same time, you don't stop pressing, which is what I said earlier. You got it. Whenever we look a little bit more aggressive, and we've got this on our side and that on our side, and we can push forward, push back, and explore the pitch freely, do this and do that, we look like a genuinely good side. And I don't understand why we always stop, but it is what it is. Anyways, before we sign off, I will address our second goal, slash their own goal, which Kieran McKenna, in his post-match interview, said it was offside. And while at the time I didn't think much of it, of course, after watching the game back, it is probably offside. I'm not going to lie. The linos had an absolute blinder. To be honest, I think even Reece knew he was offside, because as he started to run with the ball, he's looked at the lino to check for an offside, and when the flag's not gone up, that's when he's committed to the attack. But by that point, the defender's already caught up with him, and it's fortunate that the defender's managed to slice it in the way that he has done, because otherwise this game would have finished 2-2 in my eyes. So yeah, quite a strange one, because it's normally us that gets hit by the decisions and things like that, especially recently. But I mean, I'm not going to say credit to the linesman, because he's got it wrong, but what I will say is it's very fortunate that happened. And again, it's only going to boost confidence from our first half performance, because it was a fantastic first half. I'm not going to lie in any sense of the imagination. No own goal or error from Ipswich is going to take that away from it. We played the way we were supposed to be playing, and an attacking brand of football to get up the pitch and score 3 goals before half time. 3 goals before 30 minutes, I believe it was, or whatever it was. But you got to play like that. The goal deficit is what will win you a game at the end of the day. When we get a 1 goal or a 2 goal deficit from the other team, nothing ever happens. Like Southampton, 2 goal deficit, nothing. Cardiff, 2 goal deficit, nothing. That 3rd goal proved clinical and vital for us. So if we can take that to the next game, I believe we'll be in a good standard of mindset to keep playing and hopefully push something for the rest of the season. But at the same time, it's Preston. Let's not forget who we're talking about here. The game plan will change for the next game, and it will go tits up and we'll lose. But hopefully that doesn't come to fruition, and if it does, then I'm sorry. But as it stands, that's my thoughts on the game. Yeah, interesting one to say the least. I did think at one point we was going to get our own back from them beating us 4-2 at the start of the season, but we took out our attacking positives from that game and put them into this game, and it worked like an absolute charm. Some luck was involved in this game, I will agree, but at the same time, it was a good enough first half performance to warrant maybe taking something from the game, and we did, thankfully. We just need to sort out our second half approach, or when we are trying to defend the box, we gotta sort that out, because it never fucking works, and I'm sick to death of saying it week in, week out. So yeah, thanks a ton for watching, and have yourselves a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you on Sunday. No, you won't. I lied. I'm not even going to be available to watch the game at the weekend, because I'm going to be in Lincoln. If I can get a stream on my phone, then I'll watch the game and whatnot, but if not, then your report will come to you on Monday like it is today, because I have to do my research and whatnot, and I'm not getting back till late Sunday. So yeah, thanks a ton for watching again. Sorry, next week will be late again. I'm sorry, this one's late again, but fingers crossed to sorting out schedule. So thanks a ton for watching. I'm going to enjoy a nice week off, and I will see you all next week.